Greetings. Here we are for another podcast by the famed and popular Opinionated Ladies. I've got a question from a listener that's very interesting, and in the meantime I want to mention that the opinions that we give here as Opinionated Ladies are not to be construed as professional advice, but for entertainment purposes. Now here's our question that we're starting out with today.
A listener submitted a question. They're asking, how many drinks is too many? Seems that their partner is consistently checking in with them when they go out. So, how many drinks is too many, and is it the number of drinks that's actually the problem?
So, the partner's checking in to ask how many drinks the writer has had while they're out?
That's what it sounds like.
It seems like it's not just a simple question, is it? If you went to a church that had no drinking, perhaps there's no number of drinks that would be acceptable. There are so many things to consider, perhaps your age, or any promises you've made to that partner who's asking.
Well, when I hear this question, it's not to me a problem of how many drinks. It's a question of how many drinks is too many for your partner, because if they're asking that, they're obviously concerned about something. Maybe it's the behavior the drinker has when they're drinking. Maybe it's the safety when driving home. Or maybe it's something completely different. Maybe the asking partner has trust issues with people who are drinking because of their past. There probably needs to be a conversation between the two partners as to what makes them both comfortable. What would you say to that?
I'm going to jump on the word partners here. It'd be one thing if it was a parent checking on a child, and maybe they're driving the parent's car, or an unmarried couple, or a married couple. There are some marriage advisors who suggest that one partner should not be doing anything that the other partner is not in agreement with. So in that case, there would be a different answer for each of those situations.
That could be true. So what kind of conversation do you think the partner should have about this?
Let's say it's a girlfriend or boyfriend. What terms do they have? Are they going steady? Are they just hanging out together? Who's dating someone that needs supervision in their drinking? Brings in so many other aspects.
They gave us the details they gave us, and that's what we have to work with. I'm going to say that if a partner is asking how many drinks you've had, again, they're uncomfortable with it, so maybe you should ask your partner how many drinks they're comfortable with you having, or ask them the question why they're concerned. And I don't mean to say that in a, don't use a derogatory tone when asking this, but genuinely ask what concerns they have. Maybe they're concerned about your safety. Maybe they're concerned about how you act, and these are things that you need to hear from them that you might not be aware of.
There needs to be conversation. You're right, it was a lot more than just how many drinks. A marriage situation suggests that this couple should have had conversations about this long before they went out drinking. If one is consistently uncomfortable with that person having X number of drinks, seems like that would be a thing to be resolved, not while the drinking is going on. That's not really the best bargaining time. You're not going to have a conversation at the restaurant.
That is a really good point. You really can't do a lot of good conversing if you've had a few drinks. You don't want to take a serious conversation on your plate right then, because it might not go well.
And you might have some friends there who didn't really want to be a witness to that conversation.
Oh yes, I think we've all been in a situation like that once or twice in our lives. Sorry, just reminiscing over some bad decisions. Yeah, so I think you're right. It comes back down to communication in this.
And at the right time, when you are proactive, that would mean someone who decided before a certain catastrophic event what the plan was. During the questionable event is not the ideal time. If you could have resolved it before you went and said, okay, we agree 1.5 or whatever you've agreed on, then there's no big deal.
Oh, I just thought of something else that this question could be leading to. It might not be behavior or safety or a personal preference from the partner. It could be a financial concern because drinking can be quite costly when you're out.
I do know of a couple where one of them hid receipts for the amount of liquor that had been purchased. And when the other found those receipts, they were shocked at all the economies they had made in other areas, not knowing that their money had been going down the tube for alcohol.
Oh, how disappointing.
Yes.
To find out you're sacrificing in your relationship only for the other one to have a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They both should have a good time. It doesn't necessarily require drinking.
I really liked what you said before about how some relationship advisors suggest coming to these types of agreements beforehand. There's a relationship style.
Egalitarian.
Egalitarian.
Where you both have equal input.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know what a conversation about alcohol would look like in that type of relationship?
If I may go back to the idea of having the conversation before the situation occurs.
Yes.
It reminds me of what I've read about child rearing.
Okay.
Which is, let's say you have a child who's going to come in late, been coming in late from their dates.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of making a pronouncement when that child comes in, like you're grounded for life or give me the keys to the car, whatever, the parents know this is probably going to happen again. They should be having a private conversation in the den sometime without the child and come up with what their consequence, if any, would be if the child comes in late again.
Oh.
Because you certainly don't want to have that conversation in front of the child and say, how dare you take the keys away from her? She needs it for her job or whatever.
Yeah, you want to be in agreement.
Yeah. So children aren't involved in this question about the drinks, but still, you want to have this conversation in a very calm time when neither person is drinking and when you're just thinking of things to improve your relationship.
Well, something that came to my mind while you were giving that example was if this agreement that they do come to is somehow broken, or maybe the agreement is one drink and they have two, a punishment.
Or how about a natural consequence?
A consequence to overdoing it. But maybe the consequence would just say, well, then there's leeway. Yeah, you can do it if you want to pay the consequence. So that might not be the best one. Because, like, let's say the consequence was like, you've seen those swearing jars, or it could be like a drinking jar.
A lot of quarters in this swearing jar.
Yeah, there would definitely be a lot at my place.
So that is a nice idea. There needs to be a fallback. There's something that needs to happen.
But
if there's a history of these things not being followed.
But can we apply that to a relationship that's not child-parent, but instead spouse-like?
Well, if it was a very trustworthy relationship, like let's say you and I decided we weren't going to walk the dogs in the flower bed, okay, because the landlady might be upset. Then we may not have to need a consequence because we might say, well, I'm not going to do it because I agreed I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. But you know what? Another thing that came to mind was the love bank that you hear some relationship experts talk about, where you have this jar, and they talk about every time your partner does something nice, they're adding to that bank, but when they do something bad, they could be taking out a lot more than they put in.
So you're talking about a theoretical love
bank.
Yeah.
I am. I'm just saying it reminded me that it was thought-provoking, and I hope everyone finds the opinions that we share on here thought-provoking as well.
I've heard this theoretical love bank in a relationship way of speaking proposed by Dr. Willard Bill Harley of MarriageBuilders.com, that there is theoretically a love bank between two people, and the things that you do either put things in and enrich it, or they take things out. A good reason to get this drink situation wrapped up with this couple and get it resolved, things that are even unintentional repetitions of behavior that's annoying can take theoretical money out of the love bank more than once.
Well, I hope that all of our listeners have enjoyed this time. We definitely are looking forward to answering more of your questions. You'll see our email address down in the details of the video. And we hope you guys are staying safe out there.
You too. Bye-bye.